I wanted to talk about Aaron and all of this because obviously there's turmoil everywhere, a lot of conflict. And what I can say is that he has been having some issues since October for various reasons, including myself. So what I did is I went ahead and I started him back in therapy, and we'll be having some more serious conversations about what's been going on here because obviously that is the root of his issue. But without that honesty, um, like the things that he's experiencing now are a result of what he's been witnessing here with me, what I've been doing, my stress levels, my irritability, things people want me to take medication for that would just stop if we would all just stop and try to be healthy. But mostly my fault because I'm his mom. And I have a responsibility to him. And one thing that I wish about this particular situation is that the moment that I recognized that both were being affected, like I'm being affected already. I'm getting headaches. I'm crying randomly on the bus. That nobody saw me crying on the bus, but the inability to hold tears back and just kind of sitting with my head down and slow and making sure I'm those moments came. Isolation because I am completely terrified to go outside. He's experiencing it too. And then we're both sitting here clashing all the time because we're both just, most of it is my fear and not his. He's only, if he feels any fear, it comes from me, you know? So that's one thing that I have been dealing with heavily is the regret that once I saw that it was starting to affect him, I didn't do anything. I didn't do anything fast enough because the only person in this entire thing that actually was owed anything was Aaron. And a lot of the time I spent time grieving the other children. And I think sometimes he thinks that I don't like him. It's just that it's a very hard paradox that we're in because I don't want to miss anything. I really enjoy him. I really enjoy showing up at school and taking him out and spending time in the house, but there is something there. It's like it's like a bittersweet thing because not all of them are here. It's very sad. You know what I'm saying? So I know that he can probably feel that energy because he is who he is, on top of the other problems that we have within our home, like my short temper and my irritability. So, he has now been entered into therapy too. And otherwise, he's still very well. Everybody calls him sweet and polite and all of those accolades that parents wish to hear. But that's just who he is. That has really not much to do with me because I'm not always nice. So I thought I would mention that because as we sit here and we get into all these other incidents that are happening within the neighborhood and all this stalking and all this stuff, there is a little boy here. Um, and if you were upset because I told him I would lock the door, I literally never lock the door when I'm here by myself. If there's another individual here, I lock the door, and that's to force a knock. He's old enough. He's 7 years old. He's old enough to knock on that door. When he busts in here like he's the cops, but you is not the cops. And 99% of the time when I'm in my room, I'm not dressed. It's, this is my space. This is my space, you know? So you need to be making sure you're knocking, you know? That is only to make them run into the door, because when his friends come here sometimes I'll lock the door because they'll if it'll never stop opening, but as long as they knock, they're welcome in. And all they do, they unlock it themselves. It's just that pause to make them knock on the door, because they can all unlock this door is not like one of them crazy reinforced locks, and it's made specifically so a child can't lock themselves in the room. So my door is often closed, but never locked. It's only ever been locked if there's another adult in my room with me, or there's like a multitude of children in the house, to remind them to knock, because there's a lot of them and they'll just keep barging in. You just, you know. Um, I don't, I don't know what's going to happen with that, because there's a few things that are about to change, because in therapy, he can't really, I can't encourage a lack of transparency for him and what he wants to discuss. And then I found this is what was the turning point with Aaron. Because throughout this time on my channel, I have mentioned that, I've been physical with Aaron, and my personal belief is that we should try our best not to be physical, but I'm coming from a path where physical was the only mode of operation. Like our family, that's what I was taught. Maybe not in the same context of how I do it, because I tend to be more explosive than like sitting him down and be like, hey, you did something wrong, you're gonna get a spanking. But the added irritability oftentimes causes an unexpected physical discipline, which is what I continue to discuss here. So because I came from that history and that background, I have a trigger already to it. So then I reenact it in a less controlled environment, like, because I'm not controlling anything around me. I'm not controlling that this man is bothering me. I'm not controlling that these people are, kind of walking all over me and doing little weird stuff. And it's not even to say, I think it's very, we'll get back to that part. Let me stick to what I'm trying to talk about with my son. I believe that what I have allowed has now begun to affect Aaron. And he has a right to speak on that. And I'm giving him the ability and the outlet to do that. So for anyone who's concerned about that, I do have integrity about that. But when I realized that I have been more truthful about what's going on with G than what's going on with Aaron in therapy, then I wasn't, how dare you take your situation with G more serious than your relationship with your baby? I feel a lot of shame for that. But he and I speak confidently together often. And we had spoke on the fact that me allowing all my circumstances to take a hold of me was a breach of his trust. And so we are working towards building his trust back. But in case anybody wondered, what's going on with all your son and all this stuff? You don't have to worry about that. Because, like I said, my children are my inheritance. I was, he asked me what the happiest day was. It was when they were born. The life of being a parent in this type of situation where I made choices before I had the proper knowledge, saying sex until marriage is too black and white. There's so many things that happen and paths that you take, you know? Uh, it was too black and white to just say be obedient, and just wait until you're married. I walked into a lot of really traumatic experiences before. I've walked in them since because I'm still trying to relearn what it is that I was raised on. I am doing my absolute best. If someone believes that my absolute best is not enough, that is okay. Just like with G and saying like, listen, if you want to follow a restraining order, you want to do this stuff, it's fine. It's the same for my son. If someone thought that there's something that I did that was wrong and they think that I deserve consequences for that, I would 100% accept that, because my goal is to produce a child who understands, excuse me. Okay, so my goal is to just always make repairs where I can make repairs. You know, I've never been claimed to be a perfect mother or anything like that. That has never been the case. A lot of people outside seem to think that I'm really great, but I've been online expressing my struggles with parenthood, at some point. But I think it's real important that people know that, because I'm sure you're wondering what is, obviously all of this would have an effect on my child, correct? On me, on the way I parent. Also, I have, I burn out a lot because every single thing is done by me and on foot. So I do a lot of tasks, and I was thinking about it, like when people say I'm not pouring to myself enough, it's like, yes and no, because I mean, this process here, all of this, all that takes pouring into myself. That takes, you know, taking the time to slow down, to really pour into oneself. Working out takes that. And my house, like, I don't have much. I don't have video games. I have solitaire and like cake sort on my phone. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't have a lot of other ways to find an outlet at this time, you know? So my outlet was trying to be kind to others, and it didn't always work out. Um, I also found myself around others because of my inability to stop smoking. It's, I've tried so many times, and sometimes I feel it leave me and then it comes back. It'll leave and it comes back. Leave and come back, you know? But, you know, all things that I'm never going to give up. I'm going to just keep trying. That's all I can do. But the purpose of this video here was just to let you know that I'm aware of some of the things. And I didn't, for him specifically, because we're sitting here and we're saying, how dare you be honest with your therapist about what's going on with G, but not Aaron. Part of the reason of that is because I went and I tried to get help for the people that were causing me distress. Because if we could remove distress, like even in this time apart with G, there has been a lot less, it's been a lot more calm for all parties involved, because this was affecting the whole house. We're all just feeding off of each other's energy. And I know that I have the ability and the capability to be that way consistently. I just kept allowing myself to pour elsewhere, pour here, because I keep acting like I don't have the time, but I really do. Right now, I'm just trying to heal, like physical ailments. I'm trying to do other stuff. So I do actually have time on my hands. That's why I have the time to do this little, I have time. I take care of Aaron, but Aaron goes to school for 7 hours. You know, I meal prep. I do all that to have the time, and I'm already poured into for the day. Then what? Then what? Aaron's already poured into for the day. And then that's not even consistent. As you can see, I struggle with that consistency for myself because I'm tired. Even if I'm not directly pouring into him, it's been months, honestly. It's been months without any people in my life, really. I would hang out with our neighbor when Aaron was at school sometimes to take up some time, but ultimately I would still get things done. I would still go do what it was I needed to do. I would still go to my doctor's appointments, and I still had all this extra time. What more can I do to pour into myself at this time? You know what I'm saying? Pour into others, that's all. And maybe we pour into each other. That's I don't know. I'm always questioning, like, what more am I supposed to be doing? You want me to go make a business? I actually gave ideas on businesses before, and I don't know if those people did them or not, but they were valid. I see them now. I don't know if those are the owners of those businesses, but it was a valid business opportunity. I ain't got no money. I'm impoverished. You think I'm supposed to, like, come up with it? I don't know. I don't know. It doesn't really matter. This video is still about my son. I'm not sure what more I could do with what I had, other than not pour at all. I should have probably saved more for my cup. And because of that, it's directly affected Aaron. Otherwise, he's well, but he'll be working on that very soon. And it's a deep regret to be honest about that part, because it's my child. And it's the one thing that once it started getting really bad, I should have just stopped seeing him. I should have just stopped. That's really it doesn't matter if he was treating me bad. It doesn't matter. The only reason I should have ever stopped seeing G before this is because it was affecting my relationship with my son. Y'all have a good day.